Guys, it's October. Can you believe it? Every time October hits, I don't know if it's the same for you, but I feel obviously super happy because the festive season is upon us and I love that. But I also feel a little stress creeping in because I'm very aware of the time that's left and everything that I still have to do. And somehow I really feel like time speeds up once October hits, you know? So anyway, that is not the point of this video. The point of this video is actually that you still have 3 months to go and you have time to kind of like press a little reset button and get things right. And I kind of feel like there are two types of people. The first category is the ones that once October hit, they're like, that is it, let's call it a year, and they just report all their unaccomplished goals to the next year. And then there's the second type of people that are just like fired up and they're ready to double down on their efforts to make sure that they reach their goals or that they get as close as possible to reaching them. I'm more, part of the second type of people, and chances are if you're watching this video, it means that you also want to make the most of the 3 months that's left in 2024. And that is what this video is about. I am going to share with you my step-by-step process that is really going to help you power through those 3 months left to make sure that you accomplish your goals or that you get as close to reaching them as possible. Before we get into this video, I just want to say that I was highly inspired by the book, The 12-Week Year, and I did implement some of the concepts talked about in this book in my video. However, I did not translate all the ideas and all the concepts that are talked about in the book. So if you do want a better understanding of what the book is about, I definitely encourage you to give it a read. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. It always starts with a vision. As the book says, if you do not have a vision that is greater than your present state, then you won't have a real reason to act in the way that is going to pull you towards that vision. In other words, your vision needs to be bigger than your present. To my mind, someone's vision is very linked to someone's why. So I definitely encourage you to take a little moment and try to figure out, what is your why? What are you striving for? What are you working towards? What is your goal in life? A great way to guide you to finding out what your why is to project yourself in the future and try to see where you see yourself in 5 years. How would your life look like? And that is going to give you a good indication as to where you're going to find your drive from. If you see yourself as this huge businesswoman or CEO, then your why is very career oriented. And if you see yourself as this person that has this beautiful family that is just living very happily together in a nice house, then your why is very family oriented. And I know it sounds very serious, but it doesn't need to be that deep. Your why just needs to be something that is strong enough to pull you out of your comfort zone and to make you want to challenge yourself. Maybe your why is, for you to be able to afford a car or a house or a bag. Maybe your why is to be able to build a legacy one day. Or maybe your why is just to prove to yourself that you can do it. I'm not gonna lie, I had phases in my life where my why was very linked to material things and phases in my life where it was not so linked to material things. Anything goes. And once you've done this little introspection, it's time for us to create a mini vision board. I personally love to create vision boards, and like everyone, I create one for every year to kind of like set the tone for the year, but I also like to create mini vision boards every few months to kind of renew my motivation. So at this point, you're clear on your why, you have a vision, and hopefully you're feeling fired up and ready to make things happen. All we need now is a plan. One of the biggest mistakes when I look back on periods of my life where I failed to reach my goals or I just was very far from reaching them was not that I did not have a plan. I actually do always have a plan. I love making plans, but my problem was that I did not execute properly on them. And the book, The 12-Week Year, talks exactly about that. It explains how the difference between the very highly successful people and the rest is not the lack of dreams and it's not the lack of ambition. It's the level of execution. How crazy is that? What blows my mind about this is that execution is something that anyone can train to become better at, right? It's not something that's genetic and it's not a quality that only certain people will have. Anyone can become very, very good at executing, which also means you really don't have any excuse. So for the next 12 weeks, execution needs to become your new mantra. I think that the best thing about having the 12-week time span is that it is very conceivable. You know, it is so much easier for you to wrap your mind around 12 weeks versus 52 weeks. I mean, I just feel like every time I think about, 52 weeks, a year, it just seems like this endless stretch of time that gives me the illusion that I have so much time on my hands when in reality, it goes by so fast. In 52 weeks, you have the time to be so motivated and just like go all out on your goals and also hit a slump and go deeper in that slump and do that all over like 2 or 3 times. Whereas in 12 weeks, you only have time to focus on what's truly important and really focus on your goals to make sure that you reach them. Because in 12 weeks, if you have a couple of bad weeks, it is going to cost you too much. All that is to say that for the 12 weeks that are left in this year, because you see the finishing line, execution is going to come to you so much easier than usually. So the question is, how do we plan and how do we execute? For your plan, you need to ask yourself, what is it that you want to accomplish after your 12 weeks, right? What is your goal? Be very clear about what is it that you want. Then you're going to dissect that and kind of have some key actions that are going to help you reach that goal. For instance, let's say that you have your own brand and one of your goals would be to reach a certain number of sales by the end of those 12 weeks. Your key actions could be to have a social media campaign happening or to make some sales calls or to have an email marketing journey that is going to keep your leads very engaged and eventually get them to buy your products. Whatever your goals are, make a list of all the key actions that are going to help you reach that goal and plan it out in your calendar week by week. I just want to say one thing though. I know we're trying to be ambitious here and we're really motivated about those free last month, but we also need to stay a little bit realistic, all right? We don't want to set ourselves for failure. So try to be somewhat realistic when you're planning it all out in your calendar. And finally, because we want to accomplish so much in a short amount of time, we need to make sure that we are improving our performance week after week, which brings us to the last part of this video, which is to score your performance. When it comes to tracking and scoring your performance, it's so important that you remember that you only can evaluate what is within your control. Coming back to my previous example, if your goal is to reach a certain amount in sales in order for you to grow your brand, then you can't really evaluate your performance based on the actual number of revenue that you'll be making, because that does not really depend on you. What you can evaluate instead is how many of those key actions were you able to execute on week after week, because that is fully in your control. So according to the book, just as every week you are going to set your key actions for the week, at the end of each week, you need to spare some time for you to review and score your performance. So let's say that at the beginning of the week, we have set 6 key actions for us to do during that week. And then Sunday comes, we are reviewing our performance and we realize that we have only been able to accomplish 4 out of those 6 tasks. That kind of like gives us the equivalent of a 66%, in performance. The only thing that you can do now is to do better the following week. Now, according to the book, if your execution score is 85% or more, you will be more likely to achieve your goal after those 12 weeks. Just something to think about. At some point in my life, I was really into scoring my performances across all areas of my life, whether it was my workouts or like my nutrition and even my work. I just really like how it kind of like gamified the whole journey and made it more fun. And what I liked the most was that every week I was trying to beat myself. I was my own competition, and that was weirdly motivating. Anyways, there you have it. If you want to get out of your slump right now and make sure that you reach your goals or you get as close as possible to reaching them, then why not press reset right now and consider those 12 weeks left as your mini new year. An opportunity for you to start fresh, set new goals and improve your performance week after week. I was watching one of Ali Abdaal's video where he was referencing the Parkinson's law, which is basically the idea that work expands to fill the amount of time that is allotted for its completion. And it really resonates with me because it makes me think, how come some people are able to achieve so much more than others when at the end of the day we all have the same amount of time. I was also listening to one of Ed Milet's podcast interviews, and he was just explaining how he is going about his days and how he's able to accomplish so much. And basically, it all came down to, for him, one day is 6 hours only. So in the space of, a conventional 24-hour day for you and I, he has 3 whole days. So he's able to do 3 times more than the average Joe. And over time, that just sets him apart completely. Now, obviously, it is a little bit out there, to have 3 days in one just seems a little bit intense for me personally, but you kind of get it, you can have your own perception of time. You can either choose to wait until January 1st to start again, or you can decide to have your own beginning of the year starting right now and get ahead. It's all up to you, and I am gonna stop rambling. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I am so excited for the rest of this year. There's still so much time and so many more opportunities for us to get closer to this ideal vision of ourselves. And also, there's the whole fall vibes and festive season that we love so much. It's gonna be so much fun. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate your time and attention, and I will see you soon for another one.